What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today I'm jumping back into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. What I want to look at is some changes that happened as of the 2.1 patch to the Falling Folly. Now, if you're familiar with the previous solution that I did, there was a lot of barricades placed up near the rift that are no longer possible because some new seams or basically some interruptions in the terrain have been added to prevent traps from going over certain areas. This is specifically this additional like 2x2 space where the rift room is connected. So you can no longer barricade enemies around from this particular guardian, and it does make it quite a bit more difficult to get things done. So what this means is that your best bet to take care of both areas is probably going to be a mix of building a kill box in this area and also a smaller one down here and along the walls. So that's what we're going to try to do. Now, everything that we have going on here, best bet is probably going to be to use this Floor Scorcher and a big game hunting ballista. And the reason that I bring the big game hunting ballista is because this stage is chock full of bosses. There's at least 7 bosses that come through the gates on this map, maybe a little bit more. So it's a good idea to be prepared. Now, with Stinkeye specifically, because his passive now is to be able to drop the mana motes, which replenish all of your mana on pickup from his totems when they're destroyed or they dissipate over time. I'm not really going to worry too much about bringing mana with me, but we'll see how this goes. I think I'm okay with that setup. There we go. So, might as well add some slow there. Bring that. Ooh, that speed boost is absolutely noticeable. Okay, so first, one of the first things that you'll want to do is block off your rift room.
Beware, intruder.
That looks nice.
If I move that back about a half space, can absolutely make sure that they don't get forward, and that is still blocked.
No trespassing.
Maybe over here.
I should just do it that way. Okay, so there we go. And that particular corner is touched, and then they move out and they stop at the seam. Now you'll notice that you can place things on both sides of it, but it's about a full unit across and from the edge to the wall here. Now this wall is completely unaffected by it, which looks weird, but it's the way it is. So this was definitely put here for reasons. What they are, I couldn't tell you.
I like surprises.
So let's go ahead and do that. Slow things here. And because I don't think there are any...
No minions getting through this.
I don't think there are any enemies that will be coming through here that are particularly dangerous early. I'm going to drop those there, and I could probably place an arrow wall or two here as well.
Over here.
Now, is that going to be enough? Probably not.
The boss minion has entered the battlefield.
But we're going to drop this here. And can I place that there? Yes, I can.
They've broken through a gate.
Alright, so we'll just let this deal as much damage as possible to these guys while they're on the ground. I can stay up here, which is extra nice. Now, these guys are probably not going to be dying in a single hit if you are not like in the 90s like I am. I am far above the map's difficulty level. But the ballista is going to take care of them. And then, is that pretty much it? Yeah, that's the first wave. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to grab Psalm of Speed. And then we're going to do basically the same thing.
Looking good. This is so nice. I like
Beware,
surprises.
A
boss is on his way.
Alright. So that boss is going to be coming from the bottom, but he's still got to make his way up here. In the meantime, I'm going to have these set up and be able to get some solid damage off on anything that makes it around the corner. And I question whether or not Moneybags is even going to make it around the corner. He should be coming up the stairs there now. Whoa. I will need them to die, though.
Boss minion has been taken down.
Yeah. So this is one of the few survival maps where a big game hunting ballista is like essentially a godsend. It's an amazing trap when used at the right times. Okay, and I'm just spamming the crap out of these at the moment. Make sure they group up here.
An unstable rift is opening. It must be destroyed.
Okay. So I should be okay with these things coming out the way that they are now. Let's grab that, just because boosting the drop's effectiveness, allowing it to give me Unchained and health, is going to be better than the stun right now, because the main issue with the falling Folley that essentially everybody has to deal with at some point in time is there are a ton of earth elementals here. Like, too many, really. More earth elementals than you'll find on almost any other stage in a normal run.
No trespassing.
And the fact that the big game hunting ballistas have been changed to take out hunter minions like Knoll Grenadiers, Dwarf Grenadiers, Knoll Hunters, and Pride Hunters makes them an even better trap to bring. Also, you know, they take out mercenaries, since the mercenary system has replaced heroes. And Stinkeye has this nice, like, really passive playstyle. If you're not in the mood to, like, huff and puff while running around to get everything killed, then he is going to be the hero for you. Probably do one of these. Alright. Now, above the barricades that I have here, because I can, just going to drop those. Alright, now we're going to place a few more of these up. Oh, there's nothing else coming out of there. Okay. Now, the reason that Stinkeye is doing particularly well here, besides the fact that I'm above the level, is partially because his totem is able to target multiple enemies or hit the same enemy multiple times, making his damage suited for a mix of heavy and high quantity minions. Not as good as a character that had like true area of effect damage, but he hits a little bit stronger than some characters too, which is a benefit to him. So he's a really nice, solid, like, support character with DPS and a lot of other things mixed in. He doesn't have the best crowd control in the game, although it's seriously good. Like, he has the ability to slow things down with his Zephyr Totem, the green one here. He gives you a speed boost, and the speed boost that I get from the Zephyr Totem is stacking with the Stablehand Guardian here quite nicely. So I'm getting like this super speedy Stinkeye. Alright, let me put that back out. Okay. And of course, for enemies that get grouped up, you can use his right click to get some nice explosion damage going.
Beware, intruder.
Alright, so I haven't ventured back out here to build this up anymore. I need to now.
I like surprises.
Okay. So it's not going to take care of everything for me, but that will deal a solid amount of damage to things that are coming up. And then I should only have to deal with the weakened enemies. Alright. Let's add the projectile to the wrath totems. That essentially gives me about a 20% DPS increase on the totem itself, because it automatically fires one shot periodically, and when you shoot it, it normally fires 3. That ups it to 4, so you get much more damage happening. Now, I can't say exactly how important it is to put those 2 Viscous Tars in front of them, but it will help you out immensely in dealing with the large crowds of enemies that are coming out here. It will slow everything that's not an Earth Elemental, and then the Earth Elementals themselves will die rather easily because of it, so I think you should be okay.
That trap goes on the ceiling.
That looks nice.
An unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
Alright, so we have a good amount of damage down there with those Ceiling Ballistas. We have another rift showing up. Now, the Null Breeder is actually particularly problematic here, just because this guy basically might as well have his name changed to Guardian Murderer. He does a particularly high amount of damage to Guardians, particularly because I said particularly like 15 times in a row, but because of the fact that he can spawn Notum. So I tried to say Gnolls and Totems at the same time, and like my tongue completely failed at that. He can spawn Gnolls, and then the Gnolls will sort of swarm the Guardian while he stays out of reach. The Guardian will kill the Gnolls, but he'll just continuously take damage as the Gnoll Hunter sort of just summons more and more Gnolls. So if you enjoy having Guardians, I would highly recommend that you make those guys a top priority, or figure out how to include some big game hunting ballistas in your loadout. Okay, so these explosive guys are coming from over here. Another thing that's really good about Stinkeye is that he can sort of bank his shots around corners by placing the totems in an open area, and deal damage without enemies being able to get line of sight on them. That makes it really nice for dealing with archers without taking a lot of heat yourself. Just have to be aware that those totems have a cooldown. Now, what I would personally like is, since these totems don't seem to be able to be destroyed by enemies, it would be nice if the little blue bar on them sort of degenerated like Cygnus's, because to show that they have a cooldown or duration. You know, short of actually having like just a timer show up above it. I think that might be a little bit too hectic for the UI to handle. Okay. And then we're going to grab Angry Oasis so we can grab 2 of these guys. Actually, I don't even need this here at the moment. I can just drop it over there. Now, if you do happen to put these 2 totems close to each other, what happens is they seem to fire at each other and get a couple of their shots going. But only if you shoot one. It forces the other one to shoot. And you can see a ton of shots there, although they happen almost simultaneously. So placing or picking the double wrath gives you a lot more DPS as Stinkeye. And if you're playing Stinkeye solo and you're slightly lower level than the map, or you know, you just feel that you need some extra DPS, that is essentially the way to go. Alright, I don't think those bosses are going to really get too far. We'll see though.
Boss summoned the boss minion. The enemy's boss is dead. That goes there. The boss minion has entered the battlefield.
Alright, these guys are relatively wrecked.
The boss minion is down. A boss is on its way.
Alright, and those are all of the money bags that spawn at the top at the end of this particular map.
We've defeated the enemy's boss minion.
All right, nice. So I think
The enemy's boss is down.
these guys are pretty much guaranteed to be taken out by the
The
ballistas.
boss minion is down.
And there we go.
They will not pass.
So in addition to that scene being there, it looks like a few other things have been done to the map just to make it, I guess, more suitable for sabotage. Except the enemies all seem to be exactly the same when the map gets loaded for sabotage, as far as I can tell. So it may be causing a bit of grief to some players. I've seen a lot of people like dropping the queue whenever that map shows up, because you can see it before you actually load into it, which is a bit problematic. That, in addition to the fact that sabotage randomly picks the map based on the average group level. If you're playing with, if you're a relatively low level player, like account level I'm talking about here, and you happen to group up with somebody that's higher, as long as the average level of the group is at or above the level of the Falling Folly, I think it'll show up. So you'll get a lot of players that pick characters that have possibly never played the map before. And I think that that's probably an issue with the way that the map selection is set up. And of course, you know, nothing in this game is set in stone. It could possibly change sometime in the near future. I feel like there's a lot of things that can be done to the map making or matchmaking in Sabotage to make things a little bit better for people, but most of that feedback has been left on the forum already, so we'll see what happens in the upcoming patches. But yeah, I didn't foresee that particular change coming, but I'm interested. Geez, I can't speak at all today. Interested in seeing exactly what comes out of it. Do people think the map is harder with the increased par time? I'm not even sure why the money bags come out at the end anymore, since there's no more coin tied to score, I believe. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of the recent changes to Falling Folly. Is the map still giving you an issue? Which characters are having the most trouble with it? My guess is Smolder, because she has no tools to deal with high HP enemies other than unchaining. And that's kind of what Earth Elementals are. High HP, immune to slows and stuns. They're just ridiculous all around. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of it. And then, of course, if anything interesting happens, I'll try to get as much feedback as possible to, you know, whatever people are interested in, see if some things can be done. But, you know, overall, I think I like most of the stuff that's happening with the 2.1 patch. I'm through all of the cosmetic skins in the premium shop, and I am working on, I guess after I finish loading up on the rest of the traps, getting the parts section sort of filled out, and then maxing all of these guys. Most of these are done, but these need skulls, and that's what I'm working on now. So after I do get the skulls to go through this, what I want to do is talk about the heroes and traps that they work well with, and then actually start talking about the traps specifically, what they do, how they work. There's some generic like damage type stuff that I want to talk about too, and I think that will probably be the video that I start working on after I'm done this, although some other stuff will come up in the meantime, because I'll need to, that's sort of a compile footage and talk about stuff kind of things. But anyway, let me know again what you guys hope to see here in the future, information that you're looking for about the game, because of course, if I know it, I can put it together for you, and if it helps at least one person, it's probably going to help more people. Either way, since I've been rambling for like at least 2 minutes here, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks as always for watching. I sincerely appreciate it, and until next time, have a good one, folks.